Good afternoon. My name is Matthew Nichols.
I'm Mackenzie Moffett.
I'm Charlotte Ayala.
And I'm Connor Darush. When my team and I were first asked to analyze to what extent can investment and innovation in the Lake Nona community transform the issue of urban sprawl over the next 25 years, we first had to ask the question, what the heck is urban sprawl? Well, urban sprawl is the migration of a population from populated towns and cities to low-density residential development over more and more rural land. As we can see in this visual of an Ohio landmass, in 1984 there is not that much of a population and it was a rural area. Over time, in the year 2016, it became more populated and urbanized due to the effects of urban sprawl.
Now, due to the effects of urban sprawl, there naturally has to be other contributions. Our solution to urban sprawl is the continual investment in medical city of Lake Nona. Now, this is shown through our line of reasoning, being politics is driving the investment of Lake Nona, drawing in new people, changing the culture and social structure, resulting in a new eco-friendly outlook, all based on the initial and continual investment of medical city.
Like my colleague Matthew just stated, politics will act as the initial investment that will further lead to urban sprawl. As in an Orlando Sentinel article, we can show that Lake Nona, by the year 2045, expects 77,000 new residents. This massive increase of citizens has resulted in a growing demand for more public places, such as parks, to be built, resulting in more pressure on city leaders to establish these community centers. Orlando City Commissioner Jim Gray, who represents our Lake Nona area, has described Lake Nona as a teeter-totter and concern to its growth, where he writes, "I've got a lot more restaurants to patronize. What we all talk about is this live, work, and play environment. You see, politicians are acting as the initial investor because citizens will deem politicians as the success for the public parks coming in and the more urbanized community centers coming in. And then that will further help them in their re-election campaign when their term does expire." And to speak more on this live, work, play environment, I turn to my colleague, Mackenzie Moffett.
Now, as Lake Nona has built upon itself in recent years, it has seldom failed to generate a very healthy as well as social environment. For example, Lake Nona boasts many different communities, each within itself holstering its own little sub-community. An example of this would be Laureate Park. Laureate Park was specifically built to ingrain specific bikeways as well as walkways, and an encouragement in a way to encourage its residents to walk instead of drive. Building off of this is the appeal to walk to places with your friends as well, instead of moving on to culture. Lake Nona's culture in Lake Nona is another vital aspect as well. Now, the definition of culture can be defined as intellectual achievement. Lake Nona has seldom had trouble proving its intellectual achievements. Through its WIT smart homes located in Laureate Park, through its new eco-friendly implementations on businesses, Lake Nona is not only generating its own culture, but it's also paving the road to become one of America's most technologically advanced cities. Now, further elaborating on this, as I said before, is the WIT smart home. Now, the WIT smart home has a plethora of useful tools such as a vitamin C shower, indoor herb garden, as well as UTI tracking toilet. Now, the WIT smart home is the future of Lake Nona's culture, adding on to the eco-friendly implementations it is now seeing.
How Lake Nona is being more eco-friendly. Lake Nona has become more eco-friendly over the past few years since 2012 because of the new installment of smart homes. These smart homes have not only impacted Lake Nona in a very positive way for the environment, but it has also improved our well-being. As you can see to my right, the solar panels on houses decrease the amount of energy being used by electricity and uses energy from the sunlight in order to improve technology in our homes. Lake Nona has also gone Going green has been a big goal for Lake Nona as a community due to the new installments of foods, for example, Bole, which has been installed as a new improvement for the environment. For Lake Nona as a community because it's healthy foods for the environment.
The sound's not on the machine up there. Next one, next one.
Medicine is everything in our daily lives for both our health and our economy. Lake Nona is also built around medicine. As we can see with the initial plans for the Lake Nona Medical City, everything is placed in a fashion which is within walking distance, and also multiple small communities are placed around the medical city. This is useful in many ways. The draw of multiple universities not only brings in a continual education for research for current doctors, it also brings in a host of medical students and educators. The medical draw Lake Nona is highly built on education. This is seen through the University of Florida Medical Center and the University of Central Florida Medical Center. Both contain high technologies that are seen in today's medical field. This is best preparing the students for today's workplace. This is also seen in the continual research centers in both of the colleges. Now, to speak on the original return for investments in Lake Nona, this is seen through the price per square foot of houses within Laurier Park. As we can see in 2012, when the WIT home was first initiated, the price per square foot is roughly $68. As we can see, in August of 2018, the price per square foot has increased to $148. This speaks on the initial investment return from politicians. What questions do you have?
All right, so I'm going to just go through and we'll start with you, Mackenzie, and then work our way over to Connor. First question, Mackenzie. In what ways did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of this project?
Definitely to accept and be more tolerable throughout this group. We all have had our differences throughout this group, however, we still managed to make it work and work as a single group.
Okay, thank you. Matt, describe how the content of the team presentation was changed as a result of your discussions.
Well, through our discussions, we did create our line of reasoning, and this was a little bit of a challenge for the connections that we had to draw throughout the entire presentation. I know personally for me, making the connections with politics and eco-friendly was a challenge, so drawing those connections through our conversations really improved.
Thank you. Charlotte, what is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about your own individual research?
Well, our resolution really made me rethink about my lens, environmental, because my lens had both pros and cons, so I feel like I had to focus more on the pros con and focus more about how the fossil fuels and all those are how we've been decreasing the amount to make it a positive impact for the environment.
Okay. And Connor, let's say the best for last. Describe an argument from one of your peers' individual reports that makes you think differently about your team's solution or conclusion.
I definitely turn to Matthew's work for this. When we started, we all believed that from Mackenzie social and cultural, for Charlotte's environmental, and my political lens, we all believe that our lens was the most important. But then using Matthew's medical lens and having that as our main solution, the continual investment in the medical city is acting as the solution, and using our three lenses to elaborate his solution changed it as we moved further.
Okay, you're done. Great.